Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and we're back again with another Spirit Island video. We are near the release of Smothered and Surrounded, the next phase of Nature Incarnate, coming out to the digital game, and it's going to be a very exciting one. Everyone's favorite spirit from Nature Incarnate, Breath of Darkness Down Your Spine, will be coming out along with 3 aspects. So what I've been doing for each of these waves is doing a game before and after the release of these waves to play the base versions of these spirits before and the aspect versions after, so that way we can compare and contrast how the 2 different versions of the spirit play. 3 aspects that we're going to be getting in this phase. We're going to be getting the Encircle aspect for Sharp Fangs, we're going to be getting the Tangles aspect for Green, and we're going to get the Stranded aspect for Shroud. Of the 3, Shroud is not going to change all that much, but the other 2 are going to change wildly. Let's see how the spirits play together, and then after it all comes out, we're going to run it back with the aspect versions on the same board versus the same adversary so we can draw some comparisons. Alright, let's go. We got ourselves boards C, F, and E. Okay, we're going to get to add a Sharp Fangs presence. Oh, this is kind of interesting. All the beasts are in a little clump in the middle. So very often we would just go to like E6 just to spread our presence out. But maybe we spread our presence out just a little bit more. Just to, I don't know, for some reason if we want to do that. Maybe let's put ourselves... Which of these gives me more adjacencies? 1, 2, 3, 4 new adjacencies. This one gives me like 3 new adjacencies. So yeah, I guess C. C4 gives me the most improvement into what I can do. Okay, starting off with the wetlands. Kind of unfortunate that we only get 1 coastal wetlands across the island. Because on the very first explore, you don't get a town. So it's the opportunity to, take advantage of a little weakness. But alas, that is not us today. Playing 3 spirits at the same time means that it's going to be tricky for me to try and articulate absolutely everything that's going on. I'll do my best, but yeah, there's a lot of little things happening. And certainly with like all of the moving parts of Shroud and all the moving parts of Fangs, it's going to be a very spatial game. So maybe we'll just start out with Green, who has a pretty standard opening, just going for a power card and energy, and then next turn we do a lot. What do we get here? Dark and Tangle Woods doesn't do a heck of a lot against the wetlands. And specifically on board C, lands 1 and 3 are going to ravage for 5. So Dark and Tangle Woods won't get us there. And then the C7, it's already got a town in there. It's going to be like a 6 damage ravage, so that won't get us there. And then the C4, we can just make a Sacred Site and skip. So in solo, I would definitely not take this. Taking a look around the horn, it would certainly be very effective here on board F. It would effectively defend everything. Yeah, I guess we could take it just for board F. Otherwise, we'd be looking to go somewhere else. Nothing else here has plant. I mean, Dark and Tangle Woods is a good card for our elements. But yeah, Reaching Grasp, not super into. Uncanny Melting is cool. Dire Metamorphosis is probably not the pick. So I think it's between Dark and Tangle Woods and Uncanny Melting. So it's not an amazing card. It's going to be a while before it becomes useful, but we are going to take Dark and Tangle Woods here. And then we'll add a presence going top track. Let's build out the Sacred Site. And we're going to go for a Field Choked turn 1. Turn 2, we'll probably just go for like Gift, Overgrow, plus Stem in order to get ourselves a little bit of damage as well as a Defend 2. Okay. Let's see. Let's go over to Shroud next. Shroud has a pretty standard opener as well. This land number 3 is going to be a little tricky for me to access. But certainly land number 7 we'll be able to interact with right now. So we can go for our standard opener here. We're just going to go top, bottom, and then we're going to go for the fog closes in, plus flowing and silent forms dart by. Flowing and silent forms is a way that we can get green's presence into the mountains and the sands. So we got to keep that in mind for the future. Being able to pull other spirits' presence can sometimes randomly be really useful. Probably not on Fangs, just because his presence moves so freely on its own. But certainly for green, that's something we can look forward to. Alright, over here for Fangs. The question is, do we want to go for the G3 into Reclaim opener, or do we want to stretch it out a little bit by drafting? Taking a look at this land number 4, we really don't have a good game plan here. I'm thinking maybe Shroud is actually going to handle the E4, and Fangs will handle the E7. And he'll handle the E7 via using the innate power. So we're going to go for energy, and we're going to go top track. Let's just get ourselves down here. And we'll go for our 2 dual element cards. Yeah, let's run it like this. Okay, Fangs, come here, kill you. Let's bring the beast over here. So we've got a Jungles Explorer. We can just empty out the 7 and then move on. Killing this is a very good thing if we can get away with it. So that way we can prevent Scotland activities from happening. If we get Jungles, I think I'll kill the 7 instead of handling this 7. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Flowing and silent forms. Let's go over here and let's bring in this presence coming from green. And then we get the mountains. Okay, so that is notably not the jungles. Because we got exactly the mountains as opposed to like the sands, then this town is threatening to Scotland 6 into the E8. So our hopes for that quick little pocket might get dashed. Alright, 2 near the jungle is quite effective here in the E5. And Teeth Gleam from Darkness. Where do we see ourselves going? Certainly we're going to hit this 7 next. But I think we're going to want to do a Teeth Gleam here in the E2. This is our big challenge land. And so giving ourselves as many resources as possible, I think, is a very good thing. Alright, we get 2 forms of damage. So how do we want to play this? I'm thinking we're going to... Probably going to ping something like out here in the sands and just sit on it for energy for a while. Let's go like fog closes in here, pinging town. We can come over here, pinging town. And then we can do a little bit of Dahan move or presence movement. Coming back in here just to kind of like build out the cloud a little bit. And then we get a field choked with green. I think it's our opportunity to save this coastal land, pushing the town into the C8, which we intend to simply skip. Okay, so for this mountain, certainly the E2 is the big scary. The C3 is notable, but not nearly as scary as the E2. We have Dahan that can help us out, and then we also just have less invaders. So for Fangs, we're going to reclaim. We're going to go for a miner. Interesting. Bird's Cry could be used if we want to like kick some Dahan in and then protect them so they don't die. Because there's not already Dahan there, I'm less excited about that line. But it is possible. Visions of Fiery Doom I'm not into. We already have Terrifying Chase. I'm not really stoked about anything here. It looks to me like this is just major fodder. Pull Beneath the Hungry Earth could be played. I think this is looking to me like a Bird's Cry, only to set up one of these other guys. But otherwise, it's a very uninspiring draft. And by the way, we are going to be killing the F7 since there's 2 adjacent lands to the E8. I just realistically don't see us being able to deny that Scotland 6. And spending a bunch of actions that don't solve our immediate problems doesn't feel like it's worth it to me. Alright, we'll add our presence in a second once I think about it a little bit, but let's go over to here to green. Where green's in a very comfortable position. We already know the cards that we're going to play. We already really know everything that we're going to do. I'm thinking we'll take the opportunity right now to get a Sacred Site here into the C7 so we can skip this in the future. And then we'll add a presence out here. So now we can play all of these cards. Okay, now Shroud we're going to draft. And what do we get? Ooh, Drift Down into Slumber. It is completely off terrain, so that's not exciting. But everything else about the card is really exciting. Being a 0-cost air card that defends is all the things that Shroud likes. So while we're not going to play Drift Down anytime soon, it's definitely the kind of card I want to hold on to. We're definitely going to get some future value from it. And we can, of course, just play it right now just to like get us some matching elements. Though I don't think it's going to make a difference, at least this turn. We could pick up this water, and then we could go for the Drift Down plus the Unnerving. With this water would get me 1 damage off this innate. However, we do have green likely to throw down some damage, right? Like we could stem in the 4, and then this goes wherever. But like stemming in the 4 would get us our 3rd damage land. And by picking up this Move of Presence, that means we can double grow up to 3 card plays and be really happy. Now, of course, we could go for either one of these and then receive a proliferation to get the other. That's something we got to think about too. Who's getting proliferated? Is it going to be Fangs or Shroud? Honestly, I'm thinking Fangs. Because if we pick up... we could get proliferated up to the Reclaim 1. Because it really depends on what cards we want to play this turn if we want to pick up this plant. Because if we're not going to use the plant, then there's no reason to take it. We get ourselves up to the 3 card plays. We could look to go majors, maybe throw down some +3 energy. Just some things to think about. Or we could go top track majors, but without having to hit the +3 energy button. But definitely, yeah, we're going to be hitting some majors over here for Fangs. So for Shroud, yeah, let's just go for the Move of Presence. Let's assume we're not going to get proliferated right now. And there's no reason not to play Drift Down. If we get proliferated, if we decide to proliferate, we'll be happy we have the Drift Down in play. Okay. Last for Fangs. Maybe it is better just to grow top track, receive proliferation, and then we're in a position where we could go for a major, play the other of the plant animal cards that we're not playing this turn, plus our major. So, yeah, we're going to be innating here. Probably sending the beasts into the E4. So if we get some damage, we might be able to kill off this town. Because if we kill off this town, we can certainly do this. Right, and get Shroud to eat some fear here. I think we'll do this for right now. And too near the jungle will let us set up for a future play. And then as far as what the next thing is going to be... I don't see a great use for any one particular thing here. Maybe we'll just go for a bird's cry and just set up some Dahan. Where would we choose to do that, though, since we have to make that decision right now? We could send 2 Dahan from the E8 over to the C3. Set this land up to be defended. And full cleared. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So we'll Bird's Cry to push Dahan into the C3. We can... overgrow, so green can get a presence in. We don't need the plant immediately. And I think I'll stick miners for a while. So we'll just keep pushing bottom track. And then we'll Gift of Proliferation over here, targeting Fangs. So that way Fangs can pull top track, go for a major. And we're pretty good on presence on board E, so let's just add this presence kind of out into space. Have everyone gathered in one land, I suppose. And let's see. Yep, we'll ranging hunt, bring you, kill off this town. We'll go beast here, moving presence this way. And then we get defend 2. I think, yep, here we are. We're good to go. All right. Hard-working settlers. Oh my gosh, this gives us a Ravage skip in a turn that we don't need it. If we choose to Ravage, that's fine, right? We Ravage here, Ravage here, Ravage here, and we'll be A-okay. We can act cautiously, so that we just don't need to remove a card from the invader deck. Let's see. Each board we can push some Dahan. So I guess we could like push this Dahan in here to kill off the Explorer. Oh, destroy a damaged invader in a land with a beast. That's going to kill off the town on the E4 and in the F8. So there goes all of our fear farms. Oh my golly. Let's bring you together. Let's push up to 2. Yes, we're not going to do that. Then let's see. We can push Dahan. I guess here we'll bring you 2 together. And then on this board, we'll bring you over here with the rest of the homies. Alright, where do we want our towns added? Let's go to a land without town. I guess we'll just make our number 2s pretty big. That's fine. Over here, we'll add it to the sands. Oh, with the most invaders. Oh, drat, I was hoping I could go here. Okay, well, I guess we skip the first one, and then we take a blight on the second one. That's no big deal. Okay, beast, kill some towns, and now we're going to go Ravage, which is going to be great everywhere except one land. Okay. Maybe it's better to go for the skip, because it's not realistic to get decked out. But getting to stage 3 earlier by losing a stage 2 does kind of suck. It's alright. 1 blight, not the end of the world. Will be a-okay. Oh, back-to-back wetlands. Fascinating. Alright. Let's go here, here, here. That's all forced. Taking the escalation on C. On the spirit that is unable to easily destroy buildings. It's kind of a good joke. Also, this too near the jungle does absolutely nothing for me right now. That's also a good joke. I think we're going to wind up killing a town, killing this with too near the jungle to try and get a little corner of value, and the stem is just going to turn into a fear farm. Alright, time for Fangs to do big things. We're going for a major. Let's get huge. Angry Bears is pretty huge. If there's ever a spirit that should be good with Angry Bears, it's going to be the Angry Bear himself. If I don't take it, then this card just needs to get removed from the game. As far as thresholding it goes, it's only prey on the builders that gets me there. The threshold is really nice, but even without it, it still gets me, you know, like a good chunk of fear and damage. I think we're going to forget this Bird's Cry because it has nothing to do with what we want to be doing. Now, do I go for this animal? I think not, right? Because everything that we have gets us an animal, and I'd like to get up to 3 card plays so we can go Angry Bears, plus Prey, plus Teeth Gleam, or whatever. So we hit Nate, and we get everything. So we're going to go start pushing bottom track here. Save this presence because it's gonna die if we don't. This is the way that we get our innate, but this is the way that we get a thresholded Angry Bears, and I'm not sure which is better. Because innate, what do we use our innate for this turn, right? Like we kill town here, we can kill a town here in the E2, which doesn't do much for me. But if I get an innate, right, so I kill, you know, City Explorer like I would anyways, then I can come over here and kill a town, or maybe I kill 2 Explorers. Either way, it's a pretty good position for me. So I'm probably going to do this Prey on the Builders line. In fact, we could skip the build here in the 4, so that way the Angry Bears just full clears it. That's a pretty good use of the card. Okay, let's do this. For green, it is time to reclaim. And we're going to keep pushing miners. A defend would be sweet. But we cannot be so lucky. Spur On is an excellent card. Teeming Rivers is a very good card for right now. Ooh, okay. 2 great pulls here with Spur and Teeming Rivers. I'm kind of leaning towards Teeming Rivers. If we weren't like in a back-to-back and kind of a tough position, Spur is like would let you snowball and like just take the game out to like an amazing end. But Teeming Rivers helps you survive the early game, and if we survive the early game, we get more proliferations off, which is another way to scale up pretty well. All the thing about this one, I'll come back to it. Let's take a look at what Shroud's got going on. Taking a look at this Dissolving Vapors. That could be a play. But also taking a look at how to survive this early game. I am thinking Dark and Tangled Woods will solve us here in the Blighted Land. We'll get a skip here. We'll get a who knows what over here. I could, of course, just skip it with an Overgrow. That might be the play. So we go for like a Dark Entangled, an Overgrow, and then maybe a Blight Removal. But Blight Removal requires a Sacred Site, which we would not have access to. Which would be a good argument for Spur, because if we're not going to play Teeming Rivers right now, there's like no reason to play it at all. So if I reclaim, what am I reclaiming for? The answer is kind of nothing. Drift Down's just not going to get played for a while. Unnerving Pall's not going to be played this turn, but we can certainly do it next turn if we Dissolving Vapors. Fog Close In is cool. But yeah, let's draft. Let us draft. Alright, so one thing with Shroud that's kind of funny is a lot of the cards that we like have fire on them, such as this Sear Anger. Now, ironically, everything here actually costs the exact same amount of energy, because it either has a fire but costs 0, or it doesn't have a fire and costs 1. So the 1 energy that we gain by going for, like, Favor, we immediately lose by playing the Favor. So all of these are equal in terms of cost this turn. It's just a matter of what is better for the future. Now, Favor does seem pretty sweet because I can defend here, and then defend 4 is nice because, like, this F1's going to get Town City at some point in the future, defended by Favor with the Tahan. So I do think that Favor is probably the best pull here. And we can take a Moon. This presence isn't doing anything, so he'll pull together to make a Sacred Site. So let's spread our cloud out to here. And then if we go for Spur, would we play Spur this turn, right? So if we're going to go Dark Entangled, Overgrow, I'm going to be on, what, 3 energy this turn, so it would have to be a 0 cost from there, so I wouldn't be able to play Spur anyways, wouldn't be able to play Teeming Rivers. I'd be on one of these 0 costs. Which makes me want to take Teeming Rivers even more, because if I'm going to burn one of my water elements, I need another water element in order to defend 4 here in the future. So yeah, we're going to take Teeming Rivers. We're going to get ourselves a 3rd card play. Setting up to Ravage, skip the 8. And then by Fields Choked, if we push this town out, it becomes a 4 damage Ravage, and we have a defend 4 set up and ready to go next turn. So that'll turn out pretty good for us. Interestingly, we could use Dissolving Vapors in combination with this left and 8 in order to set this land number 8 up to be protected by Shroud. Interesting. I'll have to think about that. Maybe we do some damage here in the 8 and skip it anyways, so that way then Shroud grows into that land. It becomes a fear farm. Yeah, that's the move. Okay, so we're just gonna have our Presence Edition go down here in this land. We expect to get some fear farm value. Okay, moving on quickly. You don't need a Sacred Site for Favor, you just need to play Shroud. Best spirit in the game. Dark Entangled Woods to defend here. We can Overgrow in a Night to add a Presence. We'll definitely take the plant. I don't like, you know, when we're forced to add a Presence no matter what we do, it doesn't make sense to go for 4 card plays because then we lose our choices. Now we have a choice if we want to go top or bot. Let's prey on the builders. I'll take this beast. Skip that build. And then we do get some beast repositioning. It's not going to have damage, but allowing myself to reposition could be cool, right? Like I could move beasts. Like if we're not going to be able to use our ranging or hunting here anymore, then we don't need a second beast. So we can go here, gather... sorry. Let's go here And then we can just push 2 beasts out. So that way, if Sands comes up, we have a better play on it. We can add a presence, transform it, bring in the beast, and then that'll kill 2 towns. What are we waiting on? Defense. In a mountain. Oh, sorry. We're skipping this. We've got that defended. That's eating a blight. Maybe we don't need to play Dark and Tangle Woods because we could just defend 2 here instead. So we could replace that with a Gift of Proliferation. Let's do this in case we get some Dahan. Like, if we get 2 defend from Dahan from the event, then, or like a strife or anything like that, then we can let the Sacred Site live, which would be a nice thing, and then just get a big fat counterattack and actually make use of those Dahan. Only 1 damage each, but get first strike is good enough because it'll kill the city, and the defend 2 will protect me. All right, seek new farmland. If there's 2 towns, we have to push a town. So we do have a land with multiple towns, but there's no adjacent land with no towns in it. Okay, a little bit of fear, but thankfully no disease in a land with the haunts. We don't lose that resource. Push and explore to a land with more buildings than where it came from. Unfortunately, because of the back-to-back, we can't use this to prevent any kind of a build, but, you know, we can improve our situation. Let's see. You're already set over here. That's already going to be skipped. We can go... I guess if we pull this Explorer out, then a Defend 2 will still get the job done over here, which means that we don't have to commit to playing double water if we draft something cool. And let's see, we get 1 more push. I could just push this Explorer in the exact same way. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just make this mountains huge. Also, yeah, having a single HP town here is great because we can just do 1 damage here to kill it, and then another damage somewhere else to make a fear farm. Ooh, F. This Inland F did not Scotland 6. It has no adjacencies. That's really nice. Alright, jungles. Here we go. Now we got the big scary over here on board F. Looks like 4 buildings, 5 buildings, and 5 buildings. So it's a tie between these 2. It cannot go on board E. We could go to sands, and then mountain could be our 3 here. Over here would break this pocket up a little bit. I think it's definitely better for us to keep our invaders in fewer lands. So let's not go to F. Let's go to C, going like so. Okay. Okay. How do we want to play this? Certainly we're going to take a damage here. Just get that whole town kill. That's pretty good value from 1 damage. And I'm thinking the second damage is going to go here to make a fear farm. And then it's just going to turn into a ravage skip. We don't have to field choked here now because we could just play these cards and then defend 4 and just be happy with it. Angry Bears here is certainly still the play, right? Just full clears, full solves the land. And we could take a beast here to the 7 and kill this town, but that probably won't move the needle. So instead, we're going to go here to the 3, and we're going to kill this town. And that will, you know, just do a lot of good things for us, right? So we can, like, fast clear the E7, and then after the town builds, we can then clear that town, and then E is going to be in a really comfortable place, just off of a single innate power, freeing up the rest of our cards to just do things in places. Looking at this fields choked in this dissolving vapors. I'm thinking about dissolving vapors here in the 3, just so that we can reclaim and then skip it with this unnerving pall. This will also get me 3 fear farms, so now I'm going to start to get some real energy up in the here. Alright, fields choked. Now, where do we go with this? We're out of range to interact with the C1, but this is a big threat that we have to think about. The C4, we could kick this town out, which would then make it such that it's only going to be a 3 damage ravage. We have an innate defend for 2, and we can start to build out a sacred site here in the C1 in order to handle that. Yeah, let's try that. 3 for your farm. Get me some money, money, money. And we're going to reclaim for Shroud. Let's gain a card. And what do we get? Call to trade is a spicy meatball. That is a solution to the C1. So I do like that quite a bit. Quicken Your Struggle is an amazing card. It's just so easy. It's completely free to make sacred sites. And then Defend 10 is, of course, amazing. So it's once again an example of a really strong fire card for Shroud. So that's something to consider. Also, Defend 10 just solves the F2. So that's worth considering as well. So yeah, Call to Trade and Quicken the Struggle. Really, anything defensive is strong for Shroud. And those are like arguably the 2 best defensive cards. It's the highest defend in the minor power deck. And then a full-blown Ravage skip in the minor power deck is a pretty big deal as well. Call to Trade, if we get a Dahan, push from the 3 into the 2. Let the heal, and then also it can pull the town out of the 5, and then let this build up, and that would be a really nice thing for us. Let's go Call to Trade. Alright, so we have a Ravage skip with Unnerving Pall. I could favor and defend here for 4, right, by bringing these 2 together. We do this, we get defend, and then we Unnerving Paul here, slide this presence back so we still have our 3 fear farms. And then next turn we double grow. So we could play a Drift Down to Slumber will surely get played somewhere, right? It's just a Jungle's Ravage, right? So it's going to be useful. Flowing in Silent Forms, Call to Trade, and all that. Now, the problem with this Call to Trade line is that we don't have any Dahan in the 2. So what if I took the Defend 10 instead of the Call to Trade? That would allow me to solve the 2. Yeah, let's do that. So, what are we doing? Unnerving Paul, Favor. Puts me at 0 energy, but that's okay. We're going to gain an energy off of 3 Fear Farms, and then we'll gain an energy for the turn naturally, so we can do 2 1 costs, and then 2 0 costs, all just fine. Okay, now, what are we doing over here for Sharp Fangs? All I have to do is hit my innate powers over the next 2 turns. So certainly we could go up to 3 card plays. Because if we draft a card, we're going to go up to 4 energy. So even if it's a 1 cost, we can still afford to reclaim. And if we get an amazing card with perfect triple elements, we'll be really happy no matter what happens. So like this Inflame the Fires of Life, we could use that in the E3 and just strife off the town that gets built, add the disease to solve any problems for the future. If we happen to get a Jungle's Explore, you know, on the stage 3 card, we could just kill one town, strife the other one. That'll be really good. If we didn't want to take Inflame, we want to take a 0 cost, Call to Isolation is a killer card. If we want to like add a presence here to the C1, we could just kick 2 towns out. Might still go into the C1 and then just Terrifying Chase there. Yeah, it's definitely Inflame. Inflame's way too good. That feels like a good turn. And I'll turn you into a beast. We might get some random value from them. Okay, then over here for green, we've already got 3 good cards to play. Good places to use them. Oh, but here's the problem. Is range to defend here. So I guess Shroud can just favor to defend this. Let this Blight. So we stop the Blight Cascade, make use of the Dahan. And on the other hand, green could do something else. So yeah, we'll just draft. So there's no point going for the extra card play because we don't have an extra card to play. Now the question is, do we want to go for a minor or a major, right? Since we're going to get to 2 energy a turn, we could go for a major and dump something. Maybe this Dark Entangle Woods is starting to get outscaled. Ooh, Ravaged Undergrowth. What a good card that we can absolutely threshold this turn. If we chose not to play Gift of Proliferation, we just played the other cards. We could threshold Ravaged Undergrowth, and that would be a really good thing. But Tiger's Hunting is a really cool pick as well, just because it's like doing Sharp Fang things. Like, Sharp Fangs is going to add a significant amount of beasts to the board, and now we're able to make use of them more. One of the funny things is if you have too many beasts and then you like clean things up and you have all these beasts just like not being used in random places, something like a Tiger's Hunting can just feel really good to have on hand. Also, it's really cheap, so never considering Fire and Flood or Talons because it's just not going to happen. So Ravaged Undergrowth means that we don't play Gift of Proliferation, assuming that we care about Threshold, or Tiger's Hunting will allow me to still play Prolif. I will go like Tiger's Hunting, Prolif, plus... With the Teeming Rivers, we're only 1 element shy of Threshold. That's cool. That really makes me want to go Tiger's Hunting, because if we hit that threshold, this card just becomes insane. Let's get ourselves some good energy going. Prolif, because it's a good card. Wait a second. We can't even Tiger's Hunting because we don't have any presence in lands with jungles. That's wild. So I guess we just play what we were planning on playing anyways. Feels like a bit of an opportunity cost here, which is a real shame. Just like the awkwardness with just not having presence in jungles, and then a Sacred Site here, which then makes it hard for me to like get value from just things like this defend. I feel like we're doing a lot of things that don't add up to a heck of a lot. In this land here, we could defend it instead of using Unnerving Pall. Maybe we still use Unnerving Pall just in case if we get like bonus damage. We defend this. If we didn't play Unnerving Pall, what would I play? We wouldn't be able to hit any innates because of Favor just being completely off element. Or at least not having air. So I don't really know what I would play. Let's go with this. I'm wondering if Prolif could target Shroud this time and hit that Reclaim 1. Even though we don't need any of these cards for next turn, it delays Reclaim dramatically. Because next turn I double grow and I play 4 cards. So with the Reclaim 1, I'll have 2 cards in hand. So then I could then draft a card, like Top Track or something, and then reclaim a card, and I'll have 4 cards in play again. And that would feel really good. Also makes it easier, so it's just one less step to get our Defend 10 off. Sorry, we have to favor here first. And we can push this blight into... do I want to go into this land? Is there a reason to keep this non-blighted? Maybe for like tigers hunting in the future? Then we can Unnerving Paw and then gather a presence out. Over here we get Defend 4, which I'll use here just to see if we can get value without that Unnerving Paw. Over here we're just going to, you know, kill a bunch of everything. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Big decision point. Struggles of growth. So each spirit can either sack 2 presence for a power card or forget a power card to gain energy and move presence. Certainly for someone like Shroud, I'm thinking like gaining a power card is really nice. This turn we reclaimed and gained a fire card. So if we gain a card without fire, we still get the energy. What presence would I forget? Definitely the whole sacred site up here in the corner, which is like pocketed out. Or like maybe like 1 and 1. Because I realize this town's going to build and then break that pocket going into stage 3. So basically guaranteed to hit something. Green. Maybe I want to move some stuff for tigers hunting. Probably not. But also I'm under a lot of pressure for my presence. Maybe sacrificing both of these two is the move. Fangs, I think we can definitely... I think I've not been doing a very good job of being aggressive with sacking presence. I'll probably just break up this whole sacred site in the E5 in order to do that. Or I guess I'd break up this one range and targeting, even though it's going to go here. So yeah, I think everyone's going to gain a card. Disease does nothing this turn, which is a really big deal in the F2. And then Dahan defends for free. So we want to do Trade Reach. That'll let me sack and gain a power card. And Sharp Fangs. Now note, in the Spirit phase, you can have everyone draft simultaneously. Outside of the Spirit phase, it all has to be done sequentially. So just a little rule to be aware of. Mesmerize Tranquility looks to be a very strong card for us. Certainly like the E2, right? I'm still thinking about like what the heck do we do there. Mesmerize Tranquility could be the ticket. Cycles of Time and Tide can also be good. It's off element, but it, you know, removes blight. So it is something that is necessary. Kind of kicks the can down the road while we dig for better majors. Or at least lets me get more Angry Bears off in that time. Because Angry Bears is a pretty good major for getting work done here in the E2. Killing off a city each use. Yeah, let's go Cycles of Time and Tide. Like, we're in a really strong position in E. All we have to do is just not screw it up. For green, let's do Trade Reach. So let's go here and here. Let's pull a Miner. Thinking about, like, Tigers hunting synergy. Like, that would push me towards something like a Devouring Ants. Although, really, it's that moon animal is the elemental pair that I'm missing. There's no plant here. We do have a very high set of water cards. If we want Water Moon, we could go towards the Sucking Ooze. Of course, ISO is very strong against Scotland. We can, at the worst, we can guarantee denying a town, or like denying an explorer into the C2 for whatever that's worth to you. But you could do more with it. Now, this board is way too busy to worry about something like a Treacherous Waterways. I think Rain of Blood doesn't really do what we're wanting. Now, these two are very good spirits at producing spheres, so you could make the argument that Rain of Blood is the pick, so that way we can also play the fear game. Devouring Ants, 1 energy, kill a town is pretty slick. I am thinking, though, about picking up one of the 0 cost just because... you know, we're not exactly a high energy spirit. Honestly, Rain of Blood sounds fine to me. It gives me another animal for this Tiger's Hunting. So we could go up to 4 card plays to threshold the Tiger's Hunting by going for Teeming Rivers, Tiger's Hunting, Rain of Blood. That gets me the triple animal, double sun. And then we have a number of moon cards, such as Prolif. And that would get this threshold off, which would just lead to a very strong turn overall. Alright, no fires. We have one choice for no fires. Now, this is a suite of fire cards that I'm really not too stoked about. And because of what's all about to happen in the F2, I really want some Dahan movement. So Promise of Protection is honestly like the perfect card for us. And we get the energy. Little bit of Fear is nice. Little bit of Dahan Defend is nice. And we get to remove some Explorers for free, or we don't, because apparently there's no qualifying lands on the island. Alright, let's ravage these wetlands. We're going to ignore 0 invaders, let that ravage through, and that will lead to a free city kill while still leaving a damaged land. Over here, do leave behind a damaged town, though we don't have a free presence to pick it up. And now we're looking at the jungles. Alright, Scotland 6 all over, at all these towns. Make me really sad. I think jungles in the Stage 3 could be pretty rough for us, specifically looking at the 2. Yeah. Yep, this is rough. This is going to be a little bit tricky. Okay. How do we want to do this? Oh, we have 2 damage here. Okay, so we could, like, Inflame. Strife, Disease. And then we could just, like, kill this beast to kill this town. And then that would allow me to, like, use my Ranging Hunt over here or something. Did not realize we could Teeth Gleam from Darkness from this land. That's awkward. But we still have this presence over here in this jungle, so we still get use from the card. This pushes us in the only inactive land. Now we get to add a beast. And then we get to kill a beast for 2 damage. So I think, yeah, we'll do that on board E. There's a lot of beasts on board E, so I'd rather burn beast here than somewhere else. Also thinking about, like, Tiger's Hunting value. Okay, we have 3 fear farms. So there's no way of improving that, but that's not a big deal. So let's just, and they're all inactive, which is nice. We can just sit on them for several turns, right? Inactive and inland. So we know that we've got lots of time to just milk this for value. Okay, handling these jungles is absolutely paramount. How are we going to do it? Sharp Fangs. Nothing here really makes a difference. So let's ignore you for a minute. Shroud. If we're going to go for a double growth to get that Reclaim 1, then what's our plan for the F2? Because right now it's underdefended by 4. So, like, we could go for, like, a drift down into Slumber. That makes the 5 a little awkward. Just because it's that back-to-back. But, like, the F2 is a triple back-to-back, so we have to deal with it. Are we threatening loss condition? We're going to build city here, which will put me at 6 out of 6. So we'll be on the edge, but we're not going to lose. Okay, so we're going to go for Quicken, Promises, Drift Down, And then we have the ability to play one of these damage cards. So probably just Fog closes in. Though I'd be open to Dissolving Vapors too. Either one is fine. Dissolving Vapors costs an extra energy. So, like, if we're going to reclaim a damage card, like, I'd rather Fog closes in. But really, it's going to be Quicken that gets reclaimed. And we're probably going to Fog closes in to set up the F1 to be skipped. So I think Shroud's turn is pretty straightforward. For green... What are we going to do for green? Because we really want to handle this triple back-to-back on the C1. So let's go for... And the triple back-to-back, by the way, for E is fine. So we can put the Explorer here. And then we can focus all our efforts on this other land. Since we know this isn't going to be anything, we could like Call of Ferocity. It don't matter. We just reclaimed all, so I don't think the reclaim one makes much sense. But does the animal matter? I think the animal matters insofar as it lets me get up to 3 energy. Thinking about going for like an Angry Bears ASAP. This turn, what are we even doing? Because like innate is easy. Like you have to work hard to not hit your innate. So I think actually it's just an Angry Bears this turn. But we don't have energy for that. Awkward. We could Prey on the Builders here in the E1. Like Prey plus Terrifying Nightmare, or Terrifying Chase, is honestly like sweet. Because then we can kick 3 towns out and then life goes on. Those two, and then maybe we don't even go for the innate power, right? Maybe we go for like those two. I was going to say a Cycles, but we don't have energy for that. So we could go for like a Call to Ferocity maybe? Yeah, I actually do like this quite a bit. I guess if the card that we drafted is the card that we're just going to throw out there for kicks and it has to cost 0, I guess it's the only 0 cost. So yeah, it's good to have a few of those on hand just for random value. Yeah, let's do all this. Yeah, and that animal actually gets us our right innate. So that is some value right there from the animal element. Okay. Now, taking a look at green. What do we want to do? We could go for like a Tiger's Hunting just to get a little value here. Tiger's Hunting here. We could actually drop a Beast Presence here and then transform it so we kill town with that Tiger's Hunting. But no, I care more about the C1. I think we're going to go here. I guess we don't have to do that yet. We can reclaim all. Set up an Overgrow as like our oh shit. Ooh, Call to Guard. Call to Guard is really good. Pact of the Joint Hunt is really good. But Call to Guard costs 0, which is a relevant thing here. Also note we have no Sacred Sites. We could Call to Guard here in the F2, right? So 2 Dahan come in, 1 Dahan comes in, and then it's going to be fully defended, allowing that to be solved. It completely ignores board C, but that is a thing that exists as an option as well. Unfortunately, I think the way the math works out, we'd be under-defended by 1, which means that Dahan would die before the counterattack happens, which is tough, but it works. And then maybe Shroud can defend 4 here. Do a little action trading. Okay. Let him cook. Let him cook. So we could do like a call. We could do a Tigers Hunting. Tigers Hunting, there's no beasts here. Probably not Tigers Hunting. Save that for the future. We have no sacred sites, which means that we're looking at like this for our turn, which I think is fine. So, how are we doing this? Alright, so promises of protection. Sorry, this is a gather, not a push. My bad. So we'll gather. 1, 2. We can call to guard to gather and defend. Quicken to defend. We can drift down and defend. Okay. We can... Prey on the builders. To get that build skip. Beast realignment, we'll think about that in a second. Let's see, we have a gift of proliferation. Where a water here, you have to be in action. A energy could be pretty big. So hitting up to that 4th energy would be a really big deal. Trying to throw down a 3-cost major. That could be a big deal. It would allow me to draft again. Because Angry Bears Inflame is a really strong 2-card pair. Right? Because it thresholds the Angry Bears, thresholds the Inflame, and then we get another card play. Or, of course, we could push ourselves up to 4-card plays and just go for +3 energy, because this is already a really good suite of cards. Then, you know, we can throw in, like, a 2 Near the Jungle, and then maybe a Blight removal. Yeah. Proliferating Fangs, I think, is really good. And then we have some beast realignment, as well as yeah, let's do this. Let's put 2 beasts into this land. And then we can kick these 2 towns out. And then here we can start to hit it with some ranging hunts, because we'll be able to fast remove the blight with the Cycles of Time and Tide. I think that's all good for us. So now this Overgrow, we choose to either defend the Inland C or the Inland F. I'm going to choose to defend the Inland C. We're very close to dumping Overgrow for a major by means of, like, there's nothing else to do with the card. Frontier Calls. Ooh, that's gonna be a little awkward. Hopefully not that bad. Add a beast to a land with no buildings, no blight. Okay. Let's go back here. We'll go... There is no options here. And on this board, we can go into the Inland Sands. Let's move some Dahan around. So I think we're going to put Dahan here, definitely. Bring some in from the wetlands that's inactive. At worst, we kill a town. At best, like, if we get, like, a single explorer solved, we're really in a good position. We can kill this explorer. This one actually is not eligible to gather into, so... Yeah, we can pick up that explorer. And then on this board, what can we do? I guess we can pick up this explorer. Remove an explorer from a land with Dahan. Oh my golly. Look at that instant value. So good. And we solved that problem over here in the C4. Beautiful. All of that is turning up good for us. The E7 doesn't matter because it's going to die in Ravage anyway, so what other choices do we even have? I guess we could also pick up the C4. That's the choice. It's a false choice. We wind up in the same position either way. Move and explore a town from a land with disease. We still got a few disease on the island. So, if we remove one from the F... Oh, actually, the extra HP on this means that Han doesn't die. That's pretty nice. I'm thinking I might just remove 3 from this land number F. So that way it gets down to a tiny, tiny little land that's super easy to solve next turn. And then we don't have to worry about it. So all in all, we're taking just, what, 1 Blight? That's it? That's sick. Do I want to split the damage up? So that way we can then Unnerving Paul next turn instead of classically defending it. That might be the play. Little Fear Farm don't hurt either. Because, yeah, then maybe we bring back the Quicken to quicken up the 5. That might be the play. We might just do a full-on reclaim, because Drift Down on the 1's a big deal, too. That gets to town all day. If I go Explorer here, then it's fine. If I go for a town, maybe I just ping the town. The C2 like is a tough spot to be in. Over here, yeah, I mean the C2 is already cooked, right? Like I don't think Explorer versus Town at all matters. It is beyond all of those breakpoints. Meanwhile, we could call to Ferocity, right, and deal with that Explorer as a little bonus value. But first, let's Terrifying Chase. We get to kick all 3 out because of the Beast. We get 2 flat, plus 2 per Beast. So it scales really nicely in that situation. The extra Explorer here is really sad. Fog closes in, pinging everything. So now we can defend 4 here, and then we could set up a defend 10 here, and then a Ravage skip here. And that would all be hunky-dory to solve this whole board, plus the free action to do whatever the heck you want. Also, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're at our max fear farming, so that's pretty slick. Okay, we got 2 damage at range 0. The 6, yeah, that's ignored. That's not gonna be looked at. 2 damage could just kick this down to a town and not use our Call to Ferocity. Call to Ferocity, honestly, might just go to the E3 just because it solves that land. 2 damage. I actually don't really see uses for it. I guess we could, like, ping this town. But then what are we doing? Like, I don't know, killing a town over here, preserving the Fear Farm because of that city. That's some value. Which then allows me to hold on to other effects for other reasons. Anyway, like, we got this at 1 damage here, which then turns into a presence repositioning thing. The only presence that is not holding on to a Fear Farm. I guess, yeah, we could, like, ping here. Because that'll also give me a 6th Fear Farm, which is an extra energy. So let's try that, right? So we'll go here. Make a Sacred Site. So that way on Reclaim, we're already set. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4, 5, 6. Yep, so that's going to be 2 energy, which is nice. Call Ferocity. We'll just do a Fear, push and Explore, which is fine for a 0-cost card. We can kill this Then what do we got? Fields choked. Some Dahan repositioning, perhaps. And then we also get 2 damage, right? So, ping this town. We'll kill that town. Still 6 fear farms. 6 lands. I like how they add this, by the way. In case you don't want to, like, look across the whole board and figure out what you got going on. Slow and silent death. This was added in the most recent patch, I believe. But anyways, we get to push a town or reposition some Dahan. Can we target this land? No. Can we target... It's like the only one that we can easily solve like that. Bringing Dahan into the fort doesn't really accomplish anything. Where can we get value? We can't target up here. Bring these Dahan into the game. Lordy, lordy, lordy. All of our Dahan is like away from our presence somehow. I guess if we're not going to use these 3 Dahan here, then we might as well bring them out this way. And let that counterattack happen. Because we do need to let some counterattacks happen in order to, you know, not lose to the Scotland LC. And what do we get here? Sky Stretches. All right. Even though Bad Scout is a really, really good card for us, Sky Stretches is the kind of card that you just want to hold on to because you never know when you're going to need it. And you're going to be really happy that you have it when that time comes around. There is no other equivalent cards. There's only one other slow to fast in the whole game that I can think of. That's 7-cost Exaltation. So, yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with the setup that we have for Shroud with all the defend cards and just the whole suite of effects that we got. So, I'm perfectly happy to just snap pick up that Sky Stretches. I can definitely see this being a key card at some point in the future. But what do we got? We got ourselves a Quicken. We got ourselves a Drift Down and an Unnerving Paul. I'm going to sit for a second before we decide what to do next. But that picks up all 3 of these lands. So now, what are we doing? I mean, and we could slow to have something like this Angry Bears, right? Angry Bears could be the path in like the C1, for example. If we just slow to fast that, kill the city, move out, I don't know, kill a town for funsies. Yeah, maybe we go for like +3 energy, going up to 5 and 4 card plays. Angry Bears, 2 near, plus, I don't know, whatever. Reclaiming this Call to Ferocity because we might want to go that direction. Yeah, certainly we're going to want to do an Inflame the Fires of Life. That's like just way too good. And then, yeah, we go 2 near, and then maybe we just go for a Cycles to remove this Blight to set up future, to start hammering down like this turn. Yeah, what if we did that, right? So we come out here, we transform you, +3 energy, and we go Angry Bears, Cycles, 2 near, and then Inflame. It's going to be a very strong setup. And that would assume a Sky Stretches. Then over here for green, we have a Sacred Site here, so we can defend this land. Tiger's Hunting just doesn't seem like it does enough. Maybe Tiger's Hunting, like, here. You know, killing off this town and going from there. That could be something. If we just play all of these cards, it's not a bad setup at all. Let's gain in some energy. And I'm going to go for another major, dumping this Overgrow. And, ooh, Rapid Wings of Sunlight. That could turn into something. Let's see, a Defend 5 would be useful here in the E7. But I'm also wondering... Yeah, and the 4 as well, of course. So Rapid Wings of Sunlight. We don't have any moon to threshold this Tiger's Hunting, which is very unfortunate. Because it actually turns into like a city kill, right? Like we come here, we kill town, then slides two beasts either way, and it becomes a city kill on threshold. So that would be an Utter Recursive Dread and Bone if we wanted to go for that threshold. We're going to be at 7 energies. We could Utter plus Tiger's Hunting plus Teeming Rivers plus whatever. And this is a good land for a Utter Recursive Dread and Bone. We won't be thresholded on the Utter, but it still gets a lot of work done in one land. Since we know we're going to be getting either a Sands or a Mountains next. If we get Mountains, we're in a great position. Sands, I guess we're going to take a Blight here and we'll get some work done. Let's try Utter. We're taking a lot of Blight this game, more than I would prefer. Here, 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 because that gives me Threshold on Tiger's Hunting. And then either a Rain of Blood or a Stem. Stem gets me more defense. Okay, I think this solves a lot of problems. It certainly doesn't solve the C2, which is like the big scary, but we get a lot of work done otherwise. Oh, I forgot about the add a beast part. I was just thinking about it only gathers a beast. But the adding a beast is significant. That changes the math a lot. Okay, we'll come here, go here, kill city, and then honestly we're just not going to push any out. We're going to keep on hammering down on that land. Alright, let's quicken to defend 10, drift down to defend 4, unnerving Paul to remove invaders from Ravage, Sky Stretches, which will lead to an Angry Bears. And we're not going to move our presence because it's just going to die. And then, let's see, we get a defend 4 here. And hopefully that's good enough. Because we've done a lot of good things. Alright, Wounded Lands attract explorers. We had to add an explorer to a land. That's no big deal. Beast gets some control, which is nice. And then Raiding and Retaliation. Ooh. This always turns spicy, but it does save a Blight here in the E7. Alright, add an Explorer to a land with Blight. Inland Wetlands is a great place to go. Inland Mountains, whatever, it's all inactive. Beast can start kicking some stuff around, but recognize that we're going to get Raiding and Retaliation, so we're going to get 1 damage per Dahan first, and then Surviving Buildings counterattack. So we want to think about this, right? Right here, like these Dahan, they're covered. Okay, but, you know, here in this Dahan, they're not doing anything. So we can kick a town in freely, and that's just going to die. Over here on this board, these guys just die to these 3 Dahans. That's pretty slick. There's actually no beasts on this whole board. That is, or at least no beasts with invaders. Over here, we get a town kill. Over here, we get 2 town kills. Over here, we get nothing. So this is a free town kill, kicking that guy in. Alright, lots of fear around the board. I think that will definitely... 2 damage here. Yeah, that one's got a choice. I think everything else has no choice. Earns me another Terror Level 2 Fear card. So this could turn into something really nice for me. Where is this damage question? Here? Sure. Okay. At this point, I think there's only 2 blight coming through, or 2 lands adding 3 blight. Okay, which would make me flip the blight card. Okay, but if we can somehow stop the C2 from blighting, we'll be very happy. Okay, add a strife to a building, not matching a ravage card. Okay, so hopefully we can add these to coastal lands. Of course, we can't on C. Over here on F, we can. On this board, we can. Here, we cannot go coastal. So we'd be looking at... wetlands has already been seen, so we could get value from this mountains here. Gather an explorer or town into a coastal land and defend 2 in all coastals. Great. So that means we get free value from this defense here, and it makes it marginally more possible for the C2 to get solved. So we'll take this guy over. And then over here in the E3, right, we could gather this town, and then all of a sudden, like, this board is just solved, practically. And then similarly here, right, we can definitely gather something in and get some value. So we're just getting lots of free town kills with these effects. One more chance. 1 damage, defend 3, and lands with Dahan. The defend 3, of course, doesn't matter, because all of our Dahan is effective. Effectively covering its needs. Taking a look around the house, I don't have any other way to gain value, so we'll just kind of do whatever. Okay, we will be flipping the blight card here. So we're just going to make sure that we sequence things. So that way we flip the blight card last. Alright, what do we got? Sack of presents each turn? Okay. Well, we have Shroud, and Shroud does not care about that. Alright, well, the big scary here in E2 is free and clear, so now we're really only worried about the C2. And we got mountains. You know, it does make this worse, but of course, 2 towns, 4 beasts, we're totally cool. Scotland, we have to add a... where are we going? Sorry, it looks like we're going on to board F. Has to add some towns. No big deal. We got 1 town each on these 2 sands. Is this just forced? I think it's just forced. Or maybe there were some that were already added. Maybe like the 6. Yeah, the 6 had nothing, so that was already added. Okay. Oh my gosh, the whole screen is flashing. Wow. Alright, we are in the mountains. What do we choose to do? Okay, first off, let's just do some blight removal, because that is pretty non-controversial in either a mountains or a wetlands. I guess before we do that, we should use the Utter a Curse, just because we get value from the blight before we remove it. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blight. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go here. So we'll go disease, strife, badlands, 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 to kill off as much as we can and leave this land solved. Even if it explores in the stage 3, it's still solved. We get 3 damage from this beast. Oh man, all of a sudden there's so many choices. But we can get rid of some blight now, so that can start to chip down on our options. So this teeming rivers will get rid of, God, blight here, blight here. Certainly we'll get rid of it from a mountains. Maybe we'll auto-recurse here in the future. Okay, now range 1 from a sacred site. We've only got 1 sacred site, so this is pretty restricted. We'll go right here into the 7, which will kill a city, get a little fear. Still preserves the fear farm. And then we get some range 0 damage. Certainly killing a city is peak value. I might just kill this town too. Yeah, kill this town. We still get a fear farm, and life is still good. Okay, 1 damage. We can either go here into the F2 or into the 3. And either way, we'll be able to remove invaders with a Nerving Paw. I think it makes more sense for the 3. We get to preserve this strife for future games. Okay, so 3 damage in the C2. Doesn't do a heck of a lot for me. It full solves our problem here. Then we can just, you know, drop a presence for a 4th beast and then kill these, and that's all good and fine. We can do this here to solve you. Land, we're only in 1 jungle, so we can only 2 near from here, of which point there's only 1 explorer. So that's all forced. Go here, pick up you. Okay. Thinking about reclaiming this Angry Bears. Going for like just plus energy, reclaim 2 cards. Angry Bears will get thresholded with this Call to Ferocity to get more work done over here in the sea. Right, if we go here and plus 3 energy, go 1, 2, and then we can reclaim Angry Bears and then a 0 cost, so that way we can do a full reclaim next turn. And our 0 cost is, of course, 2 near the jungle, because that's our only 1. Okay, for Shroud, what are we looking to do here? We've got a defend 4, which we could use here. We are going to want to reclaim our Unnerving Paw for this. And then what do we got for the 2? Currently nothing. We could do another reclaim all. Just keep playing 4 cards a turn to stay alive. Which, I mean, next turn, right, we can easily grow, right? Because I got 1 land to handle, and it's not a big deal at all, right? So we could just do that for a little bit, spinning our wheels. Let's think about that. We're always reclaiming on green. So we can reclaim here. Definitely going for a minor. We already got a couple majors, and we're kind of poor. I mean, actually, yeah, we're going to reclaim here because I also want to get my slow to fast. For the fast Angry Bears. Because Angry Bears will kill a city here and then kill this town in the C1. As far as green goes, Sky's Herald is an amazing card. Because now that we're blighted, it costs us energy to get destroyed presence back, which sucks. But Sky's Herald gets it back for free. Allows me to do a lot more Ravage skipping. Okay. I'm going to put presents out here, so that way we're more set up for a Tiger's Hunting next turn. Because we're probably going to like Tiger's Hunting here to help out with Fangs' game plan. That's pretty funny. Okay, so I think green is the one we have to pick up last. But yeah, Shroud we're going to reclaim because we have a lot of cards that we need to play this turn. And Twilight Fog is an amazing card for us. Tri-element, 0 cost, which we do need. Gift of Constancy is really nice, but Twilight Fog, I mean, gosh, we're on 5 card plays. And we've been reclaiming a lot just because we need like 1 more card. Okay, so what do we need? Sky Stretches. We need a Drift Down. We need a Flowing. And we want a Unnerving. This leaves 1 land undefended, which would have been allocated to Quicken. So it's Quicken versus Flowing. Flowing will protect our presence because we're going to have to sack a presence to the Blighted Island card. To forget a presence, forget a power or sack a presence. But maybe I just hold on to that for next turn. Don't take a double blight this turn. Next turn we can really scale. We'll just kind of play support card, Palooza. Go from there. Okay, so now what are we doing over here for green? I put a presence here for like future value. I think I'd rather go here to make a sacred site right now. So that way we can use our innate defense. Okay. So we could call to guard to defend this, but we're probably just going to innate defend that. I could innate defend here. Sky's Herald, because we get to gather Dahan. So we could, like, defend. Prolif is just nice, but I guess we need to play some water cards if we want to do some defending. So, like a Teeming Rivers, we're definitely going to want to get value from. And then Fields Choked. We defend 4 here. Yeah, this land, it's going to be a 7 damage Ravage here. So we would need to commit everything to defending this, but the back-to-back is up here. So even though it sucks to take all that Blight, we do have a pretty good sized Blight pool. And this presence, we can like sack it to the Blight card, so it don't matter. So that means we don't need to play this Call to Guard, right? We get no value from it. We might as well play a Proliferation because that's very cool. And everyone loves getting Prolifed and it's worth the whole damage. Which is relevant here because it's going to build a town. Okay. Okay, we'll go here. We will go Quicken to defend. We'll go here to defend. We'll go Unnerving to remove invaders from Ravage. We will Sky's Herald will prevent a Blight from coming up. And we'll kick this Blight out to the ocean because we can do that. The ocean doesn't cascade, so that's pretty nice. Defend 4. We can Sky Stretch, so that way we can Angry Bears to kill City. And kill a town. Get me a 3rd Fear card, that's really, really nice. Last thing we have to do is Proliferate. Where are we proliferating? I'm honestly looking at Shroud just because if we pick up this water, then we do get more damage. And we then double grow up to 2-5 or 2 air, depending on whatever we're feeling, but probably just 2-5 to get that constancy out. Fangs has been very well proliferated. Alright, sack of presents. You are going to die anyways. You don't need a sacred site here. And Shroud. I'm honestly considering getting rid of a power such as this Favor. Favor just doesn't defend for that much. And we have 9 cards, right? So we're good for 5 cards a turn with that Reclaim 1, even if we started flipping into majors. Wow. All right, we get to remove a lot of invaders from the board. How many do we get to remove? 5 health? Actually, that's terrible. Okay, that's not that much. But the only land that's taking blight is right here. And so we're just going to commit everything to this one land. And now we have a single damaged town, which could die to so many things. If that beast was still there, it would die to that beast. Where are we going to go? We're up here. And 1 damage will get me at worst. I could take an Explorer kill. This is already set up for 3 damage, so it doesn't change killing a city here. Over here, we're going to go pick up a Explorer, I guess. Over here, we've got... Ooh, we could actually do a damage in a land with bad lands. That's so good, because then it just kills this town. And then it preserves the disease, which then, you know, helps us out for the stage 3. Ooh, yeah, what happens when you get rid of all your Dahan is you have to start sacking presents. That's awkward. Okay, Scapegoats gets rid of lots of Explorers, which doesn't do that much against Scotland because you just add less Explorers over the course of the game because of the nature of the coast not taking Explorers. So it's like 1/3 fewer Explorers gained over the course of the game. Alright, tokens, defend 3 or adjacent defend 5, which does not get there. We only have like 1 adjacency. And we get to remove in a land, but there's no tokens. By golly, that's so sad. Alright, well, we take some blight, but that's okay. We have a big blight pool. We get to remove from Badlands, Wilds, or Dahan. So, over here, this is going to die anyway, so let's go this way. Up here. Ooh, getting rid of this town means that the mountains are fully solved, and we can really focus on scaling for Shroud. That's a beautiful thing. Over here, yeah, we'll just take you. Whoop, I said ignore 0. That is wrong. We ignore 3 invaders. Alright, let's see. Yeah, we'll allow this build. That's totally fine. We'll just get the Ravage when it's relevant. And we do get back-to-back on the mountains. Okay. That's a big deal. Alrighty then. What are we doing now? Okay, lots of effects to consider. So let's start off easy. Let's start with green. Since we have 2 damage here and there's a town at range 0, we can just kill it. And then we have fields choked. We could like get this Dahan somewhere relevant. I'm thinking maybe I'll push these Dahan in and then Shroud could like defend it with a Quicken instead of skipping. Since skipping now is just more expensive for green now that we are Blighted Island. Because this land is going to Ravage for 11 next turn. So yeah, defend 10 will get us there. And then let's just remove a blight. Kind of doesn't matter where, but we're going to remove from the active land. Okay. Now for Fangs, right? These two mountains side by side is one heck of a situation. I do think, though, that, like, Call to Ferocity, just kicking this town out, is a good idea. Because then the disease will just kind of solve it. Similarly, we could just kick this Explorer out, but with the beast here, there's a good chance it just dies to beasts. So let's go Call to Ferocity, and we'll Fear Push you this way. We have one jungle, so not a lot of choice to be made. And in fact, there are no adjacent explorers, so we'll just target the ocean. Instructions unrelated to Blight have no effect. Wait, we don't get fear? Hold on. Boo this man, boo! Alright, fine, I want my fear. And then we'll Teeth Gleam for just adding a beast. We do get to remove a beast for damage. This is always worth it. So let's get rid of this city. We can always, like, transform this presence and then gather one in to kill these two fast so that we don't get the coastal problem. And then once it gets here to the inland, maybe we'll have green come in with a Tiger's Hunting in order to get a lot of damage done. We also could Tiger's Hunting here and, or like do something, right, to make it such that there's only one beast in this land. Tiger's Hunting pushes two presence out, because then you get 1 damage per beast plus 1, which would be more effective. So yeah, we could make this work. I'm a believer. Push it a Han, and then we get some damage. Okay, we don't need to worry about our mountains. Those are perfectly happy, but our cloud is still on board F. That's just kind of the nature of Shroud, is that we're not good at, you know, using our innate powers to spread out. We have to use just other things to do that. So let's see. We have 4 adjacencies and 3 invaders here. I could have 4 adjacencies here to 4 invaders. That's more value. That'll give me 1 damage and then 1 to everything. And then last, I can push it to Han. So I'll just get those guys together. There's no single isolated Dahan, which is always less preferable. Okay. So yeah, I think we definitely want to do this Tiger's Hunting play. Because really, the only mountains that's a threat is this E5, so it's definitely worthwhile to go hard. Oh, yeah. You have to pay energy. Boo, boo. Alright, let's do this. Let's gain a minor. Because I'm realizing now that the threshold is not necessarily free and easy. So to threshold this, we need animal, sun, moon. Right? We got the cards. And we do have the energy, honestly, with the Tiger's Hunting plus the Utter a Curse. It's just awkward. Nature's Connection is a great way of solving awkwardness. Because, yeah, I don't want to play God Recursive Dread and Bone. Let's be real. That card can definitely be forgotten anytime soon. So we're going to float this for now. I'm short 2 elements, and Nature's Connection only gives me 1, so this actually is insufficient to get the job done. We would need 1 more element. Looking at this Utter a Curse of Dread and Bone, as we're 1 energy short. We could choose to just reposition on the island. That would give me the 1 more energy I need, and I might choose to do that. If Shadows of the Burning Forest isn't playable in the Mountain Jungle's turn, then like it's never playable. So Surely we're just obligated to go that route, right? Let's see. We'll go for energy here, and then we'll just transform you. Or actually, sorry, no. What we're going to do is we're going to add our presence here. And then Shroud will keep everyone alive. And won't that be cool? We can still choose to do like this, though. Better to go here. Okay. And then Shroud is going to double grow and then just play a whole bunch of support cards. So we're definitely looking to like expand our cloud, right? So we want to add our presence to the outer peripherals. So we'll go here and here. Okay, we need to play Flowing to keep everyone alive with Constancy because it's the cool card for cool people. After that, we're kind of just throwing down things. We could Quicken, yep, to preserve a presence here. So let's take back this Quicken. And there's no Dahan to gather in. So maybe we just go for a little bit of damage. Yeah, now we're in that late game where we're just kind of chucking stuff at the table. Now for Fangs. I mean, Angry Bears, slow to fast Angry Bears could be a play, but that would mean that I don't get to protect people's presence. I don't think that's worth it. So I think this is ultimately adding up, by the way, to playing Utter Recursive Dread and Bone. So let's do that. So we go here, we click on Reposition on the island, and then we're going to take a presence and fly them out. That gives me one more energy, so I can Utter a Curse, plus Tiger's Hunting, with the Call to Trade and the Rain of Blood, though we could choose to switch out one of these two cards for the Gift of Nature's Connection. Probably the Call to Guard would get switched out. Yeah, let's just do it. Because I just don't see any uses for Call to Guard right now this turn. But Nature's Connection, everyone loves to receive. At worst, it's 2 energy. Alright. So now, over here for the Fang side, we are going to... We have no Sacred Sites. We only got 3 presents on the island. So the Sacred Site card cannot be played. We can Teeth Gleam, start to build out a beast thingy going on over here. We will, which already gets me my innate, which is cool. We can Call to Trade, solve that little thingy. We can Shadows, right? That card has to be good. Maybe a Terrifying Chase could be cool. And maybe a Cycles is cool. Sacking a Beast for 3 damage, though, right here on the 1 seems like a very cool thing to do, which does require 1 more animal. So let's do that. We're guaranteed to get either sands or wetlands on this next one, so we're guaranteed to get some, for whatever value you can say that that is worth, from Too Near the Jungle, we will get it. Other option is Prey on the Builders to prevent this city from existing. But we could just kill it instead and collect more fear. Holy cards on the screen, man. 14 power cards on the screen. It is a bit mind-boggling to do solo multi-handed like this. There's just so much going on. It can be a little bit much, but Thank you guys for sticking with me, because we're going to get this done together as a team. You know, now we could actually try and make, just because I don't think I've ever done the threshold before for the 1 damage to each invader. Thanks to this Nature's Connection and the fact that we're about to be full build, we actually could go for that play. Of course, passing up cards like Twilight Fog that are very necessary to get those, you just need a pile of triple element cards in order to do it. Yeah, passing up Twilight Fog does make this way harder, but still possible, I believe. Yeah, we get the extra damage here. We get nothing for self-targeted. Nothing over here. Yeah, let's go over here for 2 of a single element, gaining air. And then over here, we gain sun. Now, threshold's the tiger hunting. So, beasts. Beasts. Does not kill everything, but that's okay. We get a lot of work done. Bring 2 beasts over. And then we get 4 damage in this land. Okay, killing off 2 towns. Alright, we're going to constancy over here to green, because green is needing that energy every time they want to add presence. Quicken the Earth's struggle will come right here in order to defend for 10. And I think now, yeah, we're only taking that 1 blight. Okay. Choose for me to destroy a presence, and we're going to destroy here, so this will instead push. Let's go this way. Destroy a presence. And we'll push. Destroy a presence. We'll all push to the same land, so that way we can keep on flowing every turn for the rest of the game and not have to sack any presence. Let's get the first Ravage action. Add a Blight to a land with buildings. And we can choose to skip either or both effects by destroying 2 presence on each board to be protected, right? So we still got 2 presence in this land that's protected. So we will be able to protect something on this board. 1, 2. And we'll just kind of keep them together. Although, actually, I'll send green off to, like, the sands because it's harder for us to get there. And we want neither a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, yeah, we're perfectly happy to let that through. And because we're also going to get free defense. So, yeah, neither effect. Now we have to make some harder choices. I mean, skipping the Ravage here is obvious, right? We want that to happen. We only have 2 whole presents here, so we're just going to have to skip a Ravage, add a Blight. Adding the Blight to... Oh, to a land with buildings? Okay. I want to keep this up so that we can keep on ranging hunting it. So we'll go here to the 6. And then over here on board F, we have presence to be sacked. Could pick up like the 1 and like 4. 1 and the 8 maybe. And then that would allow me to, yeah, not do things. So we'll go here and here. And we will skip a... Sorry. Yeah, we'll skip a Ravage. We'll skip here. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We just don't want the Blight. Alright. Add a beast to the sandwich with the most invaders, and then get a fear. That's great. Free resources for us. We're always very happy to get that. We get some free Dahan and defend in lands that we have Dahan. That's a good thing. And now we have some Terror level 3 cards. Skipping the Explore, but still revealing the card. Okay? That means, wait, that means we don't get value from our 2 near the jungle. No! We still get the fear, though. Ooh, here we go. Remove 2 explorers and 2 towns from a land with beast. And every player can do it. So... where can we get the most value? Of course, anywhere that we have 2 and 2, such as this mountain here, you get max value. And then that's really, really strong. Where other places are we looking? Obviously in the 5 it's really strong. Unfortunately... Oh, actually, ooh, okay. So we could get rid of the 5, and we could get rid of the 4, which means that there will be no Scotland 6, and that'll keep this stuff solved. Which is very cool. That is a very cool thing. So I'm looking at here, here, and then here. But let's explore other options. Removing this guy. I don't think that's super important. Removing single explorers, of course. We can just deny whole actions with that. Yeah, let's just solve this. Solve you. And then let's solve... I mean, this is just like chunk value. Like, we're already in a great position here. And then we can just quicken the Euro Struggle again next turn. Because we'll kill off, like, city, town. And then it'll add a town, build a city. So it kind of puts us right back in the same place. So we can just quicken again. Or we could, like, you know, I don't know, whatever. We can do a whole mix of things. But yeah, if we remove 2 towns and 2 explorers, that'll kick it down to just a single explorer. This will make it up to a 6 damage ravage for next turn. Yeah, I actually think we're fine here. Denying a city is pretty sweet. Because, yeah, then we shadows the land afterwards, right? Yeah, okay, because of that shadows, I think it's going to be this one. Okay, so we'll kill city, town, maximize our fear. We're only 3 cards away, 36 fear from winning the game. Scotland 6 all around the house, but notably not in the E5. Big deal. It's a real big deal. And we get the Sands Mountains. Great. So yeah, because it doesn't explore, this puts me in a great position, right? I can fast kill this town with our innate next turn and just really keep the ball rolling. Okay. All right, we're really doing it. We get 1 damage. 1 damage is all we need. I'm thinking about doing a Dissolving Vapors here just to kill the explorers, kill the town, damage the 2 buildings, and then makes it easier for me to quicken next turn because I can just slide my presence back. And then, you know, we get all the fear farms because currently we're sitting on 5 fear farms. We could pick up this one as the 6th. Fog closes in with the big old cloud. Looking to probably go in the 2. It'll kill this town, damage these 3, so that way we can just skip them. We don't need to kill anything here for Quicken to be useful. So maybe I don't, because I'm looking at a lot of lands that actually need a little bit of love. Pushing Explorers, pushing Dahan is not going to get too much done. But we do it back-to-back on the mountains. So... oh, actually, take a look at this, right? Like, stage 3 is all mountains and sands, meaning that every single stage 3 card left has a wetlands. That's just a good little thing to keep in mind. Okay. Good little thing to keep in mind. Alright, let's start with just, we're already done with green, that's... cool. Oh, we don't have a sacred site. Oh, wow. It really sucks. We paid 4 energy for nothing. Yeesh. We should have gone up here. We should have pushed all the presents up here to make that sacred site. That is an oversight. That's 2 cards that we could have used. Ooh, that's a big deal. That's a big oops. Okay. Shadows of the Burning Forest. It's the only place that we can use it, so let's just do it. Even though wetlands are going to be active for the rest of the game, they're not active right now. So it's going to be our dump land. Teeth Gleam can only go here. Ooh, do we just go for triple fear? I think we just go for the beast still. Difference of 2 fear is not a huge deal to me. With the 3 damage, I could kill 2 towns, or I could leave this damaged. Call to Ferocity is certainly going to use for gathering Dahan into a more important land. Let's see. Terrifying Chase, I could completely empty out this wetlands, but there's no reason to do that. But of course, it's the only place I can do anything. And it's a forced push, too. It's not push up to. It's a forced push. So I guess maybe I could, like, Shadows and then... or just Shadows just for fear. And then use the Terrifying Chase to push out of the 1. Awkward. Actually, here's what we're going to do, right? We're going to push everything into the sands, because then stem the flow of fresh water is going to go super hard. Plus, Dissolving Vapors just kills everything. Yeah, that is a game plan. And then we'll pop that beast and kill this city. Alright, for Shroud. What's the move here? For Shroud, I think Fog closes in. Makes a lot of sense. Just pinging everything. And then we could... If we Dissolving Vapors here... Or if we do this, I think it just full clears the land, right? So we go here and bring our presence back. We go 1 damage, kill everything. So that's good. Dissolving Vapors kills everything here. So now, taking a look at our next Ravage, we can defend you, so we can, like, quicken, we can skip, or I guess we could quicken here, skip here, up here, we just need to defend 4, which, Drift Down doesn't do it. I'm sure we'll be able to come up with some defense. Yeah, and we'll come up here, bringing you in to kick these Dahan in. So that way, after we defend, it full clears, and we're just in a very strong position. Over here, Tiger's Hunting might be the play. And then over here, we can take... We know we're going to take Quicken. We're probably just going to reclaim all. Yeah, we'll just reclaim all. Ooh, great. Sap. See? Look at that. You ask, and you shall receive. Sap is beautiful. Lets me defend everything. We can just bring you over. So we get a Quicken. We get a Sap. We get Unnerving Paul. That solves these 3 lands. Okay, and then these are empty, those are empty. Okay, so we have only 2 lands that can possibly blight. And that should also be relatively easy for us to solve. Certainly like a Drift Down. Right, we can just slide presence up, Drift Down over here, so this is solved. So that leaves us 1 land. Only 1 land to worry about. How simple. Or we could just constancy. We could play cards to win the game, or we can constancy. Okay, green. We definitely want to stem the flow of fresh water. And actually, yeah, instead of constancy, we're going to want to play dissolving vapors to combine with the stem to blow up all these towns. So yeah, let's add a presence. Add a presence here so we can stem over. And actually, there's a very high chance I don't drift down this land, and then we just wind up innating it for Fangs. Because instead of drift down, we're going to want to play this flowing to keep everyone's presence alive. Yeah. So yeah, we'll go here, and we'll gain a minor. And we could gain a major. We're going to go up to 7 energy. Yeah, let's gain a major. Indom is pretty funny because we can't use it. Unearth the Beast is pretty funny. Ooh, actually, Unearth the Beast is genuinely good this turn. Because we can use it, like, here in the 8. Since, yeah, I mean, it's only going to 6, 7, 8, 9 damage out of the 13. But it's still good value. Yeah, let's go Unearth. We'll forget Prolif, or Utter a Curse. And we're going to actually change how we add our presence. We're going to add our presence here so that way it targets both of these lands. And yeah, we're 1 animal short of being able to threshold Tiger's Hunting. We are animal earth short of thresholding the Unearth the Beast of Wrathful Stone. And it's note that we actually were offered an elemental boon when Shroud reclaimed. So we could be giving some elements over. Now, if we did that, that means we're not defending here in the F6. Is it worth it? I don't know. Probably not. Though I could see a good argument for it, because those are 2 very powerful majors to threshold. Strongly considering making that switch. Because we're going to have all these fear cards, too. Actually, one thing to consider is, do we just win? Can we play in such a way where we just win? Like, slow to fast this Angry Bears? Could be a way to get it done. Slow to fast Angry Bears could get a lot of work done. That is interesting. I don't think we have enough fast fear to get it done, right? Because Shroud is only able to make, what, 3 fast fear? We have, what, 4 fast fear? Over here, we've got 2, 4, 5, 6 fast fear. And we're pretty close. We are pretty close. Hold on, let's see if we can win fast right here. So certainly we would want to gain the elemental boon over the sap. Okay. And then like quickens can actually be used for damage here. So we'll still quicken, Ellie boon, flowing, sky stretches. This is the only other way to produce fear. And it's also like a playable card. And then Fangs, let's see. What can you do for me? All this stuff is slow. gain a minor. Ooh, Gift of Twin Days. That can repeat some Fast Fear. That can repeat a slow card. But Twin Days is a thing. But Haunted by Primal Memories is more fear, right? Because this is 3 fear versus 2 fear. So if we go Primal Memories, we add a presence here. And then we go like Angry Bears, Primal, Reclaim like Too Near, Reclaim. I don't think this one matters, but we can go for like Shadows. Does this win? I think the answer is yes, but I haven't mathed it out. So we'll Elemental Boon, and we need Animal, Earth, and then, I don't know, Air. Okay. Sky stretches over here. Sky stretches on this Angry Bears. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push and kill. Hold on a second. Come here, bring in this, bring in this. 2 damage to the city, and then we can push these out wherever. So that way now we can Haunted by Primal Memories and just produce 3 fear. And then we can Angry Bears, killing off... oh, sorry. We need to leave... I guess the Angry Bears doesn't do bonus, because we can just quicken, right? So we can just deal damage, and that kills all the buildings. We don't get extra fear. Like, we get +2 damage, which is like, whatever. We're just trying to fear victory right now. And we come here, kill a town. Only 4 more fear to win. I got 3 right here. We got more than 3 right there. So yes, we do win the game. Beautiful. 2 fear. Bring in the beast. Kill off the town. Push beast out. And then we can kill you. And that is a terror level 4 victory. Whew. Oh my gosh. What a game. Holy Beast Majors, by the way. We got Fangs, who drafted Angry Bears, which is awesome. And then Green wound up drafting 2 more Beast Majors. This was the Beast game. Look at all of the beasts on this freaking board, man. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 beasts on the board. Oh my gosh. We made a ton of beasts, and that was a lot of fun. If you managed to stick around this long, all the power to you, because whew, there was a lot going on there. I do think it can be pretty hard to digest all of the actions that are involved in a 3-spirit game. But by golly, we're going to do it again after Smothered and Surrounded comes out. We're going to run it back, same boards, same spirits, well, with their aspected versions, so that way you get to watch this game again and compare it to the new version. Once again, we're looking forward to Encircle, Stranded, and Tangles. Stranded plays largely the same, just easier to execute, whereas Encircle and Tangles are wildly different, and so the next playthrough is going to be pretty unrecognizable, and I'm looking forward to it. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a glorious day.